Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia. This is a taped tutorial because last week, with everything that was going on with my German Shepherd that had the surgery, I just couldn't get down to prepare and do the tutorial. So I finally have like 5 minutes to myself where I can come down and sort of get caught up. So this is the tutorial that I wanted to share with you last week. So I'm going to share with you tonight. This is one of our new online exclusives. It is centered around Valentine's Day. It is, I would say, probably one, if not the only suites that we have for Valentine's Day, and it is online only. You will not find any Valentine's suites in the mini catalog that will be released in January. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is in this product suite. It is called the Marbled Elegance Suite Collection. And of course, you get, where'd we go? The stamp set and the bundle. So I'm sorry, the stamp set and the dies. I'll put this up a little bit more so we get a little bit more room. So we've got the stamp set with a couple of images, some sentiments, and then we've got the dies. Now, normally I would pre-cut these, but as you can see, they are pretty much just your dies. We will use some of the larger ones today, and this will die cut the flowers and the leaves, the 2 leaves. So we can die cut all of our stamped images as well as many additional different size hearts. Okay, let's take a look at that gorgeous designer series paper. This is a specialty designer series paper, meaning it has the gold in it. It's got Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Real Red, Poppy Parade. I don't really see a lot of Poppy Parade in here. Pretty in Pink. I really don't see a lot of that also. I really just see more of the Real Red, the Melon Mambo, and that Flirty Flamingo. But those other colors are in here. It's got the gold, of course, a little bit of white, but isn't that gorgeous? I love these marbled papers with the gold throughout them. I just think they are so pretty. So that is in the suite, as well as some gold thread. And we're going to work with this tonight. It's pretty fine. It's gold twisted thread. We're going to actually untwist a little bit of it on one of our ribbons. And then we've got these really pretty like brass hearts. What are these? These are called, I'm sorry, adhesive backed heart sequins. So these are just gold heart sequins. You've got 3 different sizes, like a big, a medium, and a small. It's kind of hard to see the small. They're up underneath the flap. But that is everything that comes with this suite. So let's go ahead. Let me move some of this stuff out of my way. Not the thread. We'll get the paper out of my workstation. I feel like I'm very crooked tonight. Is that better? That seems to be a little bit better. All right, so we're going to do 2 cards. We're going to do our first one. We're just going to do a little bit of tone on tone stamping with some Versamark. And then we're going to die cut some hearts, and we're going to keep this one fairly simple. And then we're going to go ahead and do a fun fold. This is one of the fun folds I'll be doing in my December Customer Appreciation Workshop. So it's sort of a modified gatefold. We've got this great big centerpiece here because I just really love that DSP and wanted to use it. So that's just the other one. So again, pretty easy, a lot of die cuts. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And I've already gone ahead and I've die cut. So I used that really big heart with the triple stitching. Actually, it's quadruple stitching on the edges. The other fanciful heart with all those pretty stitching in there. And then just 2 of the other ones that have the stitched layer on the outside, that stitched edge. So we've got that. And we've got our piece of basic white for the inside. That's 5 1/4 by 4. And our standard card base in Real Red, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Now I will be writing a blog post and putting all these measurements on. I have had some technical difficulties with my WordPress site that I'm trying to resolve. I think we've got it resolved today. So my blog post from 2 weeks ago is finally up, and I'm hoping that we can get this one up probably after Thanksgiving, which is Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do some stamping. We're going to do some real red. And on this great big heart, excuse me, we're going to stamp Love You. Okay, now think outside the box. If you have somebody, you could do a birthday card. You could do a thank you card. It doesn't have to be a Valentine's Day card. And I went kind of off center because I'm going to kind of put this on an angle. So I did that purposefully. And on the inside, I'm going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day. All right. And then I'm going to add a flower and a leaf. And I'm going to stamp my flower in Flirty Flamingo. And then we're going to use some Granny Apple Green for the leaf. Okay, we're going to stamp that right there. And we're going to go ahead and add our Granny Apple Green. We're going to stamp that leaf. Just kind of like right there. So it's going to go off my paper a little bit, and that's fine. All right, we're going to kind of put this off to the side. We're going to close up all of our open ink pads because you know me. I tend to make a big mess. All right, well, let me just wipe off my ink, my stamps real quick because we're going to use these, kind of the same ones for the next cards. I want to make sure they are clean. All right, those are good. Now, I'm going to use my Versamark here, and I've got the heart image that's it's got like leaves etched into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and randomly stamp this on my card front. Now, as this Versamark ink dries, this will get darker. So I'm just going to go and just put these anywhere I want. Okay. There's no right or wrong reason. I'm sorry, no right or wrong way when you do this. It's just kind of whatever you want to do, however you want to go. Sometimes I put like a little end part there, maybe just a little piece over here, and maybe just another little one down there. Now, I've still got some red space, so I'm going to come in. We had this X and O stamp. And I'm just going to kind of fill in some of this space with the X's and O's. Okay. Again, as much or as little as you want, stamping it like half on, half off. No right or wrong way to do it. Twist it, have it on different angles. Again, whatever you feel is good, whenever you think you have enough. Put a little X there, and let me just one more little O over here. All right, I think that looks pretty good, because don't forget, we're going to have those big hearts all over. But can you see it's starting to get darker, and you're starting to see that pretty tone on tone look. Okay, so those are our card front. Now let's go ahead. Let's put our card together. I'm going to take my basic white for the inside, and we're going to go and put that on the inside. Open this up. Okay. There we go. Who out there is cooking for Thanksgiving? I am cooking. Supposedly my nephew, his wife, and their daughter are coming tomorrow, Wednesday, to have Thanksgiving with us. Game time decision. Depends upon how my nephew's got some severe back problems. So if he's really not feeling good, they may opt not to make the 5-hour drive. They're coming from North Carolina. So I'm hoping they do. But if they don't, we certainly understand it is no fun to travel when you are not feeling great. All right, so we're going to put that down. Now I'm going to pop this big one up on dimensionals. As you know me, I love my dimensionals. And because this is such a big piece, I am going to use quite a few because I want to make sure that it doesn't sag. I think I've got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 on there. So it looks like I got 6. All right, now again, we're going to put this one at an angle. Okay, kind of right there. Right, and then we're going to come in with our other 2 little ones that I had. Oh, here they were hiding. Now this one is going to be half on Stampin' Seal and half on dimensional. So I'm going to put 1 dimensional kind of right on this part of the heart, because that's going to be on the red, and this other part that's actually going to be on the white heart, I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal on, okay, because we want to make sure that the part that's hanging off is still even with the big white one. And then we've got the little red one, and we're just going to put that one up there, and I'm just going to kind of put some Stampin' Seal on there. Now not a lot of that is hanging over, so I'm not really worried about putting a dimensional in there. I guess I could, but I don't think it's that important. All right, now we're going to come in with some of these adhesive hearts, sequined hearts. I think these are so cute. And I like that these are flat, because if you wanted to, you could also put them on the inside of your card. All right, I'm just going to use a couple of different size. We're going to use one of each size, and there's that smaller size. It's really tiny. The small size is really tiny. So we've got those on there. Now we're going to take our twisted gold thread. I guess technically it's gold twisted thread. And I'm going to tie a bow. Okay. Again, this always goes so much easier in like rehearsal than I do now, but I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to cut it. If I can find my scissor. Okay. Kind of got everything all over the place. All right. Now, because it's twisted, I'm just going to kind of unravel it just a little bit. So I want to make those ends just kind of loose. So I'm just going to kind of untwist it. Not a lot, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch at most. Okay, so that just kind of unravel those just a little bit. It just adds another little level of texture. And then we're going to take a glue dot, and we are going to put a little glue dot right up there at the top of our flirty flamingo heart. And we're just going to add that right there. And that is our first Valentine card using the Marbled Elegance suite. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? And I don't know why my internet has gotten so bad in the basement. I have got to look into maybe a new booster. I think my Wi-Fi booster died. All right. Let's go on to card number 2, which is kind of our modified gatefold. Okay. So for my card base, I have, this is Pretty in Pink. I've scored it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. And again, this is a standard 8.5 by 5.5. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside. That is 5 1/4 by 4. I've got a piece of Melon Mambo. That is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And a piece of that Marbled Elegance DSP that is 5 1/4 by 4. So really just the slimmest tiniest margin of that Melon Mambo is going to peek through that Designer Series paper. And then we've got another piece of Melon Mambo that is 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, and a piece of basic white that is 5 by 1 5/8. And then we've got here, I punched this with the Heartfelt hexagon punch. I punched one out of basic white, and I stamped Be Mine in Melon Mambo. Then I cut another one, punched another one out of that Pretty in Pink, and we're going to use that to go behind our white label. So you can always cut or punch a shape in another color, cut it in half, and then use it to back that white label just to give it a little bit more oomph. All right, let's go ahead. We don't have a lot of stamping on really on any of these. Let's go ahead. We're going to stamp on the inside Happy Valentine's Day using our Melon Mambo. Try to clean this off. I didn't. I thought I had cleaned that one off, but it still looks like it's got a bit of real red. So let's make sure this is really clean. Good. Okay. A little bit more. That's the problem sometimes with that real red. It really does stay on there. Okay, we're good. Just you don't want to cross-contaminate your ink pads. So make sure that they are really well cleaned. Okay, we've got Happy Valentine's Day. Now on my little strip of basic white, I want to stamp my flower in Pretty in Pink. And I've already stamped my Be Mine in Melon Mambo for my label. I kind of did a little bit of pre-work for another project I was working on. I am definitely multitasking tonight. All right, so now I'm going to stamp this about 5 times. Okay. Some of it will be on, some of it will be off. They'll be all over the place, but I just kind of wanted to stamp and get about 5 of these flowers on there. All right, so there we go. Excuse me. Now I'm going to come back in with the Granny Apple Green and stamp those leaves. Okay. And again, these can really be anywhere you want them to be. So I am just going to kind of alternate where I'm putting my leaves. Okay. That one looks pretty good there. That just adds a pop of that little fun green. Instead of having all these pinks, got just a little pop of green coming every now and then. And we'll put one here that's going to be mostly off, but we'll get enough of it on there. Okay, that is all I'm doing for stamping. Let's go ahead and put our card together. So I'm going to take my piece for the inside, and we are going to adhere that to the inside. All right. Oh no, I got a little bit of green ink down there. Well, hopefully they won't notice that. I don't know where it came from. Huh. I must have had a little bit of ink on my fingers. I'm going to add my basic white to my Melon Mambo. Okay. And then we're going to add this to the left side of our gatefold. All right, so it's going to go right over here. Okie dokies. All right. And I really love how the Pretty in Pink and the Melon Mambo just play off each other. Now for this, I'm going to use some liquid glue because that just gives me a little bit of extra time to make sure when I put this piece down on my cardstock, I have it exactly where I want it to be. So liquid glue is great. It's a little messier. I tend to get very messy with it, but it definitely serves a purpose. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball it to kind of make sure I've got it kind of straight. All right, that looks pretty good. Now this piece, we're going to adhere to this right gatefold. So I am going to go ahead and add my adhesive to this right gatefold. This way I'm sure that it's not going to hang over and close my card. And I'm going to kind of put my Melon Mambo there. I want to make sure that it closes. So I'm going to kind of put it there and then push it down onto that gatefold. Okay. So now when you open it, you've got that pretty marbled designer series paper right there. Right now, let's finish this up. We have, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to stamp the heart that we're going to cut out. That's what we need to do. Let's finish. We can work on our label for half a minute because our heart's going to come on last. So let me add some adhesive to the back of my label. And we are going to put the two halves of that pretty in pink one that we trimmed. We are just going to put those on the back. Okay, and you see how nice it just kind of frames that white one. Now we're going to go ahead and put this on with dimensionals. So I'm going to put just like, and I know that I kind of want it to be where that split is. So I'm not going to worry too much about where I'm putting my dimensionals, because I know that as long as they're on the left side, you know, this piece, the left side of the pink, I'm okay. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Now, you'll notice when I placed it this way, when you look, you don't see that split on the back. Okay, now, I should have had a piece of basic white over here, which I totally forgot about. So I try to be very organized and make sure that I have everything all set, but alas, sometimes I forget. So we have this again, the heart with kind of like the leaves etched in it. We are going to stamp that in our melon mambo, which I put way out of reach. I'm going to stamp this. And then we're going to go ahead and take the die. It's this one, like the littlest open die. And we are going to go ahead and cut this on our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Now, if you don't have washi tape, you can help hold the die in place with a sticky note. See, sticky notes are good for many things. It's like the duct tape of the craft world almost. Okay, here we go. Let us get this die cut real quick. And it's coming. Sorry about that, folks. I should have been more prepared. But you know me, no matter how many times I think I'm going to be prepared, something always happens. So I'm going to add that heart right there. But I want to add some of my gold thread to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some adhesive on the back of my shape. I'm going to wind the gold thread around my 3 fingers, maybe like 4 or 5 times. Okay, and then I'm going to trim it. Now, oops, see, I got the end on there already. Now, I like to just kind of make a sloppy figure 8. It's kind of like a sloppy figure 8. And then just kind of adhere it to that adhesive on the back. And then I can, if it's like this is not really showing too well, so I'm going to pull it a little bit. Okay. So that looks very good. Now I'm going to add 2 dimensionals to the top of my heart, because that part will be sticking off of my label, which is on dimensionals. And I'm going to add just a little bit of Stampin' Seal to the bottom of my heart, because that part is going to be stuck to my label. So because my label was on dimensionals, the top of my heart that's going to be off of my label has to be on dimensionals. And we are just going to stick that on there. And that is our second card. And that is it for me this evening. Again, I apologize for the internet down here. I didn't realize it had gotten quite so bad. I will have to get a new booster, but hopefully we'll have that by next week. That's it for me. Have a very lovely Thanksgiving, everyone. I wish you all the best, and I will see you next Thursday. I'm going to have a pre-recorded little snippet on Thanksgiving, just like a hi, how are ya? And then next Thursday, I'll be back with my live. That's it, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.